A midlife crisis is more than just a cultural stereotype. It's a real psychological struggle that can surface between the ages of 40 and 60. Often triggered by aging, loss, or unmet expectations, it can actually lead individuals to question their identity, make impulsive choices, or abruptly abandon long term commitments. While not officially classified yet as a mental illness, the emotional and relational fallout is very real, especially for the spouses and families left behind. This podcast gives voice to those living through the aftermath, exposing the hidden pain, and seeking accountability, healing, and understanding. Thank you for joining us today on MLC Bomb Drop and Beyond. The stories and events discussed in this podcast are for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered legal, medical, or professional advice. Any names, locations, or identifying details have been changed to protect privacy. Any similarities to actual persons, living or dead, or real events are purely coincidental. The information presented on this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional advice. Always consult with a qualified expert regarding any decisions related to your specific situation. The views expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the podcast creators. Hey, Bomb Squad. Today, I want to talk about something that made me absolutely stop in my tracks. And this is every time I see this, and it's so common and it never gets old. And it's heartbreaking to me every single time. And that is when I'm with a group of left behind spouses and I see all the trauma they're going through, or I hear from somebody who just had a bomb drop and their life has just fallen apart right in front of them. You know, I just read a story about a woman who had been married for over 20 years. 20 years. She believed she had a secure marriage, a stable life, a partner she trusted. You know, really, the picket fence and her life was going along smoothly, no signs of any issues. And then all of a sudden, boom, the bomb drop. Suddenly, the man that she built her life with was emotionally gone, detached, cold. You guys know, shark eyes. He was focused on someone else, focused on a new life. He couldn't talk to her, couldn't wait to run out of the house and get to his new life. Now, she says she can barely get out of bed. She's lost over 20 pounds. She can't eat. She cannot function. She sees no path forward. And seriously, you guys, when I see and hear stories like this, I feel anger, not sadness, anger, because causing this level of devastation to another human being is not a minor life transition. It is emotional detonation. And yeah, I get it. I know the person in midlife crisis doesn't know what the hell they're doing. They're not intent on destroying your life. They're not intent on destroying the relationship they had with you, with your children, with family members. I know they're in their own trauma. And so that's a whole nother thing that we've talked about many times, that man, the collateral damage, I just wish it could stop somehow because it is so not fair and it is devastating. And the person in crisis, you know, half the time they don't even know what the hell they're going through anyway. So I don't even know what it's like to be in their head and what they're going through. But for those of us that are left behind and are rational and have all our senses about us, for those people, it is truly devastating beyond imagination. And this is here one of the biggest misconceptions in our culture is that we're not just talking about a simple divorce. Anyone who has lived through a midlife crisis bomb drop knows this is something totally different. You know, divorce can be sad, divorce can be difficult. But a sudden psychological abandonment after decades together is something else entirely. And that is when it includes a sudden personality change, rewriting the history of the marriage, blaming the spouse for everything, obsession with a new partner, complete emotional detachment from the family. The person you loved suddenly seems like a stranger, and your brain cannot make sense of it because it doesn't make sense. And that confusion is where the trauma begins. What many people don't realize is that betrayal trauma activates the brain in a way very similar to like life-threatening danger. That your brain processes the loss of a long-term attachment figure almost like survival is at risk. Your nervous system goes into emergency mode, stress hormones surge, cortisol spikes. Your brain keeps asking the same question over and over. How did this happen? What is real? Can I fix it? And this is why people can't sleep. They can't eat. This is why their mind keeps replaying the same memories again and again and again. Your brain is trying to solve a puzzle that suddenly shattered your reality. And I know so many times I've talked about that with people. It is totally like trying to put the puzzle pieces together of your past, having it all make sense. Newsflash, you guys, it will never make sense. A midlife crisis will not make sense. It is not rational. It is just beyond. So please don't expect it to ever make sense. You may never get an apology. You may never get an explanation. And I am so sorry for that. I wish there was a way we could change this so you could, but you can't. And so we just have to pick ourselves up, go forward, you know? And one of the most shocking things that people report after the bomb drop is how physically ill they become. People tell me things like this every day. Trina, I can't eat. I've lost 15 or 20 pounds. My heart races constantly. I wake up every morning at 2 or 3 or 4 a.m. Can't get back to sleep. I feel like I'm in shock. Well, medically speaking, you are in shock. Extreme emotional trauma activates the body's stress response. The digestive system shuts down. Sleep becomes fragmented. The immune system weakens. Some people develop autoimmune issues, anxiety disorders, or symptoms similar to PTSD. You guys, this is not weakness. This is your body reacting to profound emotional shock. Again, I'm going to repeat that. It is normal for you during emotional shock for your digestive system to shut down. You may not feel hungry at all. You're going to end up losing weight. Your sleep becomes fragmented because your mind is all over the place and your immune system weakens. And this is why it's so important to really try to take care of yourself. You know, this is the deal here, you guys. Your spouse who left, the midlife crisis person, they're in crisis. They think they're pursuing happiness, which is all going to explode one day. But, you know, their little race is that, they've got to do it for themselves. They've never been happy. So they go on to this disastrous path. So not only are you stressed out over what's going on to your personal life, as a good spouse, you're sitting there going, oh my God, how can they make these decisions? What the hell are they doing? Don't they know this is like the stupidest choice they could ever make? Like, there's this huge concern for them out there. So you're worried about them. You're worried about that. And it's so unfair that what they do is going to now devastate your mental health. You know, this is irresponsibility at a catastrophic level because relationships create obligations. 20 years of marriage creates deep emotional bonds. Families are ecosystems. When one person detonates that family structure, everyone in the system feels the blast. Even adult children, because children don't experience this as a relationship change. They experience this as losing a parent who is still alive. The parent they once trusted may suddenly now prioritize a new partner. That parent may withdraw emotionally, rewrite family history, pressure the children to accept the affair partner. Children often feel like they are watching a parent disappear, and that now creates a deep psychological conflict. They feel anger, confusion, loyalty binds grief. And this is why the blast radius of midlife crisis can stretch across generations. Generations, you guys, all because this, I want to say, stupid midlife crisis situation that doesn't get enough awareness in the headlines and in general society and culture. And we just cannot ignore this. We cannot continue to ignore this. Some people who experience sudden abandonment like this fall into very deep despair, like the letter I read this morning. They feel like their life has collapsed, their identity, their future, their family. Everything they believed was stable suddenly feels like it was an illusion. And when that level of grief and shock hits someone all at once, it can create a darkness that feels overwhelming, absolutely overwhelming. And please know, if you are someone who is feeling that level of pain right now, please hear this. You are not alone. You are not weak. You are responding to a traumatic emotional injury. We have a ton of support out there. All of us have gone through this. And if you ever feel like you might harm yourself, please reach out to someone immediately. In the US, you can call or text 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, at any time. There are people there who will listen and help you through the moment. Even if you cannot see a path forward today, please know your life still has value and meaning, and you will get through this. Don't let their crisis become your crisis. It is chaos and crisis. You can escape the blast. And one of the reasons I speak about this so openly is because silence protects destructive behavior. And I am so tired of that silence. When society frames midlife crisis purely as a personal awakening, we erase the people standing in the wreckage. We are erasing the spouses, the children, the families. But shining a light on the real impact does not mean condemning someone forever. It means acknowledging the truth. Actions have consequences, and emotional devastation matters. And Bomb Squad, if you are someone who feels like the woman in today's story that couldn't get out of bed, the one who's lost weight, can't see the future right now, please hear me. Your reaction is a human response to profound rupture. You're not crazy. You are not weak. You are someone whose world changed suddenly and violently, but healing from that kind of shock is possible. I am proof of that, and you are listening to this podcast today because you will be here too. And thousands of people have stood exactly where you are now and have eventually found something they could not see in the beginning. And that is a totally new life, a new strength, a new chapter. And you may be standing in the blast radius right now, but you are not the explosion, and your story is not over. And before we end today's episode, I want to speak directly to someone listening right now. Maybe you're lying in bed. Maybe you haven't eaten much in days. Maybe the house feels too quiet, or maybe the memories are too loud. You thought you had a safe life. You thought you had a partner. You thought the future was something you were building together. And then the bomb dropped. And now it feels like the ground beneath your life has disappeared. You replay the past in your mind. You wonder what was real. You wonder how someone who knew you for 20 years, your best friend, your lover, your partner in life, the parent of your children, how they could suddenly walk away as if none of it mattered. You wonder if you will ever feel normal again. If that is where you are right now, I want you to hear something very clearly. Your reaction is not weakness. Your reaction is grief. It is shock. It is the nervous system trying to process an emotional earthquake it never saw coming. When someone detonates a life you built together, your mind and body can go into survival mode. That is not failure. It is trauma. But even though you can't see it right now, please know your life is not over. This moment you're in right now, the one that feels endless, it is a chapter. It's not the ending. Right now, your only job is to survive today. Eat something small. Step outside for 5 minutes. It's spring, well, almost spring. Call one safe person. Breathe. Tiny little steps count, just baby steps. Healing from betrayal does not happen in giant leaps. By far. It will not happen overnight. It does not happen in giant leaps. It happens in small, little moments where you refuse to disappear. One day, you will wake up and realize something surprising. The pain did not destroy you. It changed you. It made you stronger, more aware, more compassionate toward yourself and others. And that's a good thing, you guys. And one day, even if it feels impossible right now, you may even look back and realize that surviving this became one of the most powerful turning points of your life. Seriously, if you are the person listening today who feels like you cannot get out of bed, please stay. Please stay in this world. Stay in your story, because your story is not finished yet. And this Bomb Squad is standing there with you. Thank you for joining me today on Bomb Drop and Beyond, and know that this too will pass. I know it doesn't feel like that today. If you're just after the bomb drop or even years later, you know, but seriously, tiny little steps every day and you will get past this. We love having you here. I hope we're giving you some encouragement, and I look forward to talking to you in the next episode. Hey guys, this is Trina, and I want to take a moment to speak directly to anyone who didn't choose the collapse but is living with the aftermath. When a spouse enters midlife crisis, the damage doesn't unfold slowly, it happens like an explosion. One day you're living a shared life. The next, the person you trusted has emotionally disappeared, rewriting history, minimizing the damage, and running from the very family they helped build. Friends are confused, the story gets simplified, and the spouse left behind is often expected to handle it quietly, gracefully, all while absorbing the fallout all alone. After the bomb drop, the survival guide for the left behind spouse was written for you. This book doesn't offer platitudes or false hope. It names what others avoid. Inside, I will walk you through what is actually happening when someone runs from themselves, why chasing answers only deepens the wound, and how to stabilize your life after emotional abandonment, emotionally, legally, and within your family. In this book, we talk about why these departures feel so sudden and destabilizing, because they are. Why the spouse who stays is often blamed, erased, or silenced. Why saving yourself is not abandonment, and how to grieve someone who is still alive while finding your footing again. This book does not promise reconciliation. It offers you guys something more necessary at this time, and that is stability, dignity, and a way forward when someone else has chosen to run. After the bomb drop, the survival guide for the left behind spouse is available now on Amazon Kindle in both ebook and paperback. It's also available in audio on Spotify. And if you're standing in the blast radius and wondering how to survive what you didn't cause, this book was written for you. Hey, some resources that are available for you guys are thewifeexpert.com. That's Lori McDermott over there at thewifeexpert.com. She also has a new app out. There's tons of videos that can give you all kinds of information on no matter where you are on your MLC journey or trying to reconcile with your spouse. So check out thewifeexpert.com. And if you're not sure if your spouse or yourself is in maybe approaching or in a midlife crisis, be sure to check out Kenda Root's quiz at midlifecrisismarriageadvocate.com. Again, that's a midlifecrisismarriageadvocate.com. That's a quick little 2-minute quiz. It's free. So check that out as well. We have a ton of resources out there for you guys. So check them out. Thanks. Hey, if you have a story you'd like to share with our listeners, or if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email mlcbombdrop@gmail.com. Again, that's mlcbombdrop@gmail.com. All right. Thanks for listening. We'll see you soon.